Very similar liveries. You'll just have to keep an eye on the numbers as they flash past you on the racetrack here today. Then you get back to the TC Canada group, and it's Travis Hill who qualified tops in the number 26, driving an Audi here today. Bob Attrell in the number 88 Hyundai will start alongside in row number 2. Bob is a veteran of sports car racing here in Canada. No doubt it'll be a threat to win here in the TC Canada class. Then you find Marco Cerrone in the number 82, third in class in the Mark Motors Racing Audi. Louis-Philippe Montour drives the 45. That's the only Volkswagen in the field. The blue with the orange trim. Mac Clark also making his first start here in the Blanchette Motorsports Audi, the number 84. He qualified 5th in class, 7th overall. Mac Clark, of course, running in the Formula 1600 series here in Canada and then down through the U.S. as well. So he's making his mark here in sports car racing starting here today. Connor Attrell drives the number 80, also in a Hyundai, and then Quinn Attrell, his brother, in the 86, will start in the 9th position overall, 7th in class. Eddie Colleen in the 37, and then Tony Martella and Nick Loymans will round out the field in the TC Canada class as the field lines up side by side, getting set to go to green. Here in this race is the pace car looking for pit lane. This time by, it will be a 45-minute timed race for the FEL Motorsport Sports Car Championship Canada. You can see the field bunched up nicely in turn number 10, as we will see the green flag this time past the flag stand here on the front chute. The two Multimatic Motorsports Mustang GT4s will lead them down into turn number 1 for the first time. Marco Signorelli on the inside will nose into the lead. Teammate Zachary Vanier slots into second spot. There's a gap back to the TC Canada cars. And it looks like it is Attrell in the baby blue Hyundai who is nosed out ahead of the Audi of Travis Hill, who started in 3rd spot, now running 4th on track. Matter of fact, Hill has fallen back into a battle now with Marco Cerrone in the Mark Motors Audi. And then LP Montour in the 45 is right there as well. And how about Mac Clark in the number 84 in the Blanchette Motorsports Audi, just in behind the Volkswagen Golf GTI of LP Montour. But you can see how tightly packed this group is as they head down the Andretti straightaway for the first time. Attrell leading a group of TC Canada cars here on lap number 1. Into turn number 8, no positions changing hands. Nick Loymans comes into this one in the 15 car, in 3rd in points in the TC Canada class. He started at the back of the field, is moving up now. He has stood on the podium at one point here in 2021 already. But he was one driver who went right to the pit wall off the initial green, gathered up a bunch of spots heading into turn number 1, and now benefiting from that is Nick Loymans, up 3 positions, currently running in 8th.
And of course, he was much quicker in yesterday's practice sessions, just couldn't put it together in the qualifying session, but he is capable of running well up inside of that top 10, as the two GT4 runners, Signoretti and Vanier, run 1-2, no surprise there, but then a tight battle of some 5 cars all locked together as the number 88 of Bob Attrell ahead of Travis Hill in 4th, then Marco Cerrone in 5th, 6th is 45, Louis-Philippe Montour, and then Mac Clark, who just continues to look better and better each time he gets behind the wheel of this car, having done most of his racing in open-wheel formula cars, but doing a nice job here this weekend in that Blanchette Motorsport Audi.
LP Montour in turn number 8 actually caught a little bit of the curbing and bounced up the right rear tire. It was sailing up in the air in that Volkswagen Golf GTI. He slots in behind the Mark Motors entry of Marco Cerrone in the number 82. That's the lime green and black number 82 Audi, just ahead of the Volkswagen. But such a tight battle now behind the number 88 of Bob Trell.
Well, we figured it would be very close here in the TC Canada class. Trell in car number 88 leading this quintet of cars off of turn number 3, headed under the bridge through turn 4. And these 5 cars all pretty equally matched, and then just a little bit of a gap back to Nick Loymans in car number 15, who has worked his way up into the 8th place spot. 9th is Connor Trell in car number 80. 10th is 86 Quinn Trell. Then Eddie Killeen in the 37 and 11th, and 24 Tony Martella back there in 12th.
All the Trells in the race, as it's a family affair here in the FEL Motorsport Sports Car Championship Canada Series here in 2021. Bob Trell leading things. He has a big wiggle off of turn number 9 into turn number 10. Interesting story about that Hyundai Elantra N, one of, I believe, only 4 cars in North America. That is straight from the Hyundai factory in Germany. So the factory for Hyundai race cars is in Germany, and I believe Bob Trell is running the only one available in Canada right now.
And right now he's got his mirrors filled with Travis Hill in car number 26. That little bobble as he came on the start-finish straightaway has allowed that Shopify sponsored car there at Travis Hill to close on him. 82 Marco Cerrone right there, 3rd in the TC Canada class. Then 45 Luis Philippe Montour, and then Mac Clark for the moment sitting back there 5th in this group of 5 cars, working on the top position here in TC Canada. There you see the 2 Multimatic Ford Mustangs continue to run 1-2 and 1-2 in GT4. Then we've got the gap back from Mac Clark to Nick Loymans in the 15 car in 8th, Connor Trell 80 in 9th, and Quinn Trell back there in the 10th place position. So all 3 of the Trell Hyundai Velocitors running in the top 10 inside into turn number 10. That was a big move by Travis Hill trying to get inside of Bob Trell, but he just shut the door, and that's going to allow Cerrone to come up here now to challenge for 2nd in the class.
That really shook up the lead group as the 26 of Hill saw an opening into turn number 10, thought he wanted to go for it, and then the door closed fairly quickly across his nose, hard on the brakes. As a matter of fact, lit up the tires in turn number 10. Then Cerrone got a run, but also the 45 of LP Montour was right there as well. So that's how close they're running. It's one small mistake, and it can really affect the entire running order. So everybody is now back single file. The 88 of Bob Trell, Travis Hill just in behind in the 26, and Trell got very crooked up in turn number 5 and barely hangs on to that 3rd spot ahead of Travis Hill. But here comes Hill in the 26, a full head of steam down the Andretti straightaway once again.
And he is going to be taking a shot at that top position here in the TC Canada class. Took a look on the inside. Now he'll run it in wide into turn number 8, just a couple of car lengths back. Cerrone right there as well in car number 82. And then the Montour Volkswagen, and then just a little bit of a gap back to the 84 of Mac Clark, one of the drivers right off the racetrack. I think that was Montour, who got the left side wheels out onto the dirt in a big cloud of dust. And the driver with the best shot of all that was the 84, that Blanchette Motorsport entry of Mac Clark, who is certainly staying right with this very quick pace among these 5 TC Canada race cars.
It's incredible to see nearly identical lap times of these 5 cars all running in a pack behind the 2 race leaders. We should still mention that Marco Signoretti is still out in front in the 22, followed by Zachary Vanier, his teammate. Those two in the GT4 class, the Multimatic Motorsports repaired Ford Mustang, so they are well out in front of this group, about 8.5 seconds as a matter of fact, as we focus on this battle for 3rd position or tops in the TC Canada class. Bob Attrell, Travis Hill, Marco Cerrone, LP Montour, and Matt Clark all covered by a blanket at this point. But we should say Travis Hill is racing big picture as well. He comes into this one tops in points. He's 12 points up on LP Montour, who's 2nd position in points. So LP Montour is trying to climb and get as many spots as he can to get back in that points battle.
And Zachary Vanier doing a good job here of keeping Marco Signoretti. I think this might be the toughest competition Signoretti has had so far this season, as he, like Matt Clark, gets used to these sports cars after running for Vanier in F1600. He was one of the top drivers in that championship. Oh, and Attrell got wide there at the bottom of turn number 2, and that has allowed that 26 of Travis Hill to close right in on him. He'll try to go around the outside as they head into turn number 4. Travis Hill and Bob Attrell side by side through turn number 4. Hill not able to get around. He'll dive in on the inside.
Contact.
Yeah, and there is the 84, that Blanchette Motorsport car of Matt Clark. So things getting a little more desperate here among these five TC Canada cars.
Matt Clark got in very hard, lit up both front tires, and slid into the 45 of LP Montour. They were both able to sort it out and keep going, so no caution. But they did lose touch. The top 3 cars able to open up a bit of a gap as here comes Travis Hill back on the inside in the number 26, looking for a way around the 88 of Bob Attrell. He has been all over that Hyundai Elantra, but unable to find a way by just yet. Now, as I say that, Attrell gets a good run off turn number 10 down the front straightaway and opens about a car length gap back up. So an ability to take a breath now for Bob Attrell at the front.
And Nick Loymans in car number 15 continues to inch closer and closer to that front running group of 5 here in the TC Canada class. There you see 84, the Blanchette Motorsport entry, and then you see the Nick Loymans 15 car in 8th. It's still the 80 of Connor Attrell in 9th. Quinn Attrell, car number 86, runs in 10th. 11th is still 24, Tony Martella. And then 37, Eddie Killeen in car number 37. They're back in 12th.
Out of 5B, now towards the Andretti straightaway for Bob Attrell. He does have the Audi of Travis Hill directly in his tire tracks as they head down that long straightaway. So Travis Hill will get a little bit of a tow from the Hyundai in front of him, as you see the rest of that group come through. And now Hill to the inside. He made his move at the last minute going into turn number 8. And we have a new leader in the TC Canada class. 3rd overall now is the 26 of Travis Hill. And Marco Cerrone going to try the inside of turn number 10. He was hoping to get Bob Attrell in 10, but he couldn't. And LP Montour went a little bit wide, and now LP Montour loses a spot to Matt Clark.
Yeah, Montour got the left side wheels out onto the dirt, and Matt Clark jumps right on the opportunity now and will move up into that 5th place position. So Matt Clark has taken over 4th, in fact, in the TC Canada class ahead of Montour, who gets up on the curbing. That car was on 2 wheels there for a moment, but you had a feeling it was only a matter of time before Travis Hill was going to be able to muscle that 26 Audi around the Bob Attrell Veloster as they continue to go back and forth. Now we'll see whether Attrell can reel back in Travis Hill in car number 26 as they work up that back straightaway. And while all of that was going on, that has allowed Nick Loymans to close up. And very shortly, David Bradley, we're going to have 6 cars battling here in TC Canada. Meanwhile, up front, Marco Signoretti as Montour takes another run here at Mac Clark into turn number 9.
Yeah, it didn't take long for the 15 of Loymans to close that gap as the cars in front started to battle, and Loymans will actually go through the door that was opened up by the 45 of LP Montour through turn number 10. Montour picked up a spot around Mac Clark, and then Clark lost another position to the 15 of Loymans. So Clark is now down in 8th position as Montour goes to 6th. Loymans goes to 7th on track, and they are losing a little bit of touch from that group that's just ahead of them in this TC Canada class. Out in front is Travis Hill, who's now able to open up a little bit more than a second lead over second in class, which is Bob Atrell, Marco Cerrone. Those three have opened a gap now on LP Montour.
Yeah, that 6-car battle that was going on in TC Canada is now split off into a couple of very good 3-car battles on the racetrack. This GT4 class has really been all Marco Signoretti here in 2021. Zach Vanier trying to keep it close, but on the start-finish straightaway, it's going to be about 1.6 seconds separating the two drivers in those Multimatic Mustangs as they continue to run 1-2, at least for the moment. Travis Hill has opened up about a second and a half on the battle that's going on here for second in the class between Bob Atrell in car number 88 and the 82 of Marco Cerrone, and then we get the gap back to the next 3 drivers in TC Canada. 4th in the class is the Luis Philippe Montour entry, then Nick Loymans in the 15, and then Mac Clark in the Blanchette Motorsport Audi, 8th overall, and that is 6th in TC Canada.
Really impressed by Nick Loymans, who's right up in the thick of things after starting near the back of the pack here today. He's had a long way to go. He's elevated himself 4 positions, currently running 7th overall on track, just outside of the podium position in the TC Canada class, but LP Montour is just in front of him in the number 45. As you can see, the field is starting to spread out just a little bit. Mac Clark is dropping back from that group in the Blanchette Motorsports Audi, and the 2 other Atrells, I'm going to call them the other Atrells, but Quinn and Connor are trailing that group, but they're not really out of touch just yet. They still have them well in sight, so if they start to battle once again just ahead, then you'll see these other 2 baby blue Hyundais jump up and join the battle as well.
Well, both Connor and Quinn have just turned their fastest lap of the race, and that has brought them a lot closer here to Mac Clark in car number 84 as he continues to run in that 8th place position. Both Connor and Quinn have picked up the pace and are starting to reel in that Blanchette Motorsport Audi of Mac. We work lap number 12 of this 40-minute run here in the FEL Sports Car Championship Canada, the first of 2 races on the weekend, and it is Marco Signoretti who continues to run out in front, leading the GT4 class and his teammate Zachary Vanier by almost 2 seconds. But then we look at the battle that's shaping up here now for 8th position. Mac Clark definitely being reeled in now by both of the Atrells, Connor Atrell in car number 80 and Quinn Atrell in the 86 car.
So the 2 Multimatic Motorsports, the Ford Mustang GT4s, are well within striking distance of each other, keeping each other honest. Zach Vanier actually having a very good run, pushing Marco Signoretti, who has yet to lose here in 2021 in the FEL Sports Car Championship Canada. So the fact that he has somebody in his mirrors at all here in 2021 is probably a big surprise to Marco Signoretti. He's been that dominant in the GT4 class so far this year. So those 2 obviously very young drivers, learning a lot here in the FEL Sports Car Championship Canada here in 2021, looking to move maybe up the racing ladder and on to bigger things. However, getting a really good start with Multimatic Motorsports. Very well-prepared cars, very powerful cars, and obviously putting them to good use here today, well out in front of the rest of the field. So the difference back to the TC Canada class from the top two GT4 cars is now almost 19 seconds.
Yeah, indeed. And for Vanier, he came out of the F1600 championship, as we've got the 24 car of Tony Martella on pit road as they go to work, looking under as though he may have something serious that has gone wrong with that race car. But for Vanier, he is making the transition from the open wheel F1600s, but for Signoretti, at least he was in a full-bodied race car running that Micra Cup Series for a couple of years. And Vanier it's just going to take a little bit more time in this race car for him to maybe match the kind of times that Signoretti has been able to put up here on the board. Right now, the Nick Lumens car has got down into the 24s. Nick Lumens continues to close here on the 45 of Luis Philippe Montour in car number 45 as they work up out of turn number 3. There's Cerrone holding on to the second place or third place position behind Bobatrel, then Montour, and then Leumans in car number 15. He still has a shot, I think, of getting up here and moving up a position or two before this one is all over. We work lap number 14. This one's scheduled for 40 minutes. And lap number 14 currently being worked by the race leader and the rest of the field.
Yeah, that Marco Cerrone Bobatrel battle for second in class, fourth and fifth on the track right now. Probably one of the best we have on the track. Last time by the flag stand, about a half-second difference between those two cars, and you can see Marco Cerrone is now right up in behind the Hyundai of Bobatrel. It seems to be turns 9 and 10 where the Audi is a little bit better than the Hyundai, but then Bobatrel going down into turn number 1 is able to gap the Audi and gain that distance back just a little bit, but that time past the flag stand still under half a second as they chase the number 26 of Travis Hill. And as a matter of fact, those two drivers are starting to catch the lead in class Audi. The Shopify back to number 26 of Travis Hill. So is Hill slowing down, or is Bobatrel and Marco Cerrone starting to speed up by their lap times? Both actually, Trell and Cerrone, have set their fastest laps of the race, so they are coming.
Yeah, indeed. Lap number 14, fastest lap of the race for both the 88 of Bobatrel and the 82 of Marco Cerrone. They're only a couple of car lengths apart as they work off of turn 5C and begin the climb up the Andretti straightaway. Both of those drivers trying to run down Travis Hill in car number 26, and then we've got the gap back to the next trio of TC Canada cars. 45, Luis Philippe Montour ahead of Nick Leumans. Mac Clark still running in 8th, and then you've got Connor Attrell 80 and 9th, and the number 86 car of Quinn Attrell rounding out the top 10. Tony Martella, car number 24, still sits here on pit road, and I think he's gone at least a couple of laps down at the moment.
Tribute to the Michelin tires that these cars are running on here today is the fact that these drivers are able to set their quickest lap of the race. As a matter of fact, Travis Hill just did his quickest lap last time by with a 1:24.523 on lap 15. So 15 laps on these tires, and they're still able to click off very, very quick laps. So it is a tribute to the Michelin tires and the tire construction, their durability here on these TC Canada cars. Marco Signoretti continues to lead overall and in the GT4 class. Zachary Vanier holding on second overall and second in class, and Travis Hill, Bobatrel, and Marco Cerrone, the top 3 in the TC Canada class, with LP Montour and Nick Leumans.
And Mac Clark, who is running in 8th, he was part of that 5-car battle earlier until having a couple of slight miscues on the racetrack, and he has been caught by Connor Attrell in car number 80, and Quinn Attrell 86. So this is another great three-car battle going into turn number 9 for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Matt Clark in that Blanchette Motorsport Audi being chased down here by the Hyundai Velosters of Quinn Attrell and Connor Attrell as they worked out into turn number 1. Connor in car number 80, Quinn in the 86. And there's only about 8 or 9 car lengths separating those 3 drivers as they work down to the bottom of turn 2.
And it seems that no matter where you are on the track, you're always around somebody in this TC Canada class, as the cars are very well matched to each other, no matter what make or model you're running, as the two Attrells have really reeled in now Matt Clark in the Blanchette Motorsports number 84, as Tony Martella back down pit lane, or maybe leaving pit lane. No, he's back down pit lane, so problems persist for the Audi, the number 24, as they went and had a try to see if their repair actually worked, and it appears as though problems still too much to overcome for the number 24. So several laps down. He'll continue to go laps down in this race.
Tough break for Tony Martella. I think he's now about 4 laps down to the race leaders as we continue to watch this battle for 2nd and 3rd in the TC Canada class. On the start-finish straightaway, Marco Cerrone to within about 3 or 4 car lengths of Bob Attrell as they battle it out here for 2nd and 3rd. Travis Hill, car number 26, the Shopify sponsored Audi, leads by about a dozen car lengths, and then we've got the fight here for 2nd and 3rd between Attrell and Cerrone into turn number 3. Cerrone, of course, has got so many laps here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, having run over the years, and of course you were familiar with him for all the years he ran in the Porsche GT3 Cup Canada Challenge, but doing a great job here in that 5th place position overall, 3rd in TC Canada.
It almost seems as though Marco Cerrone has backed off just a little bit. He was fighting so hard trying to get around the 88 of Bob Attrell. Now Attrell is comfortably sitting in behind the number 26, but it would seem to me that Marco Cerrone, a veteran road course racer, has backed off just a little bit, maybe saving his equipment, cooling off the tires just a little bit. And that's allowed, because they're all single file, that's allowed those 2 drivers now to close the gap on the class leader, and Travis Hill just over a second ahead of 2nd place Bob Attrell, because once Cerrone backed off a little bit, Bob Attrell could focus more on what's happening out front of him and not so much about what's happening behind. And Attrell now just sets his quickest lap of the race, and it's under a second now between the leader in 2nd place in the TC Canada class.
And also Nick Loymans with his fastest lap of the race is closed on that number 45 of Luis Philippe Montour, and things starting to really tighten up there between those 2 drivers. Montour in car number 45 trying to hold off Loymans, who has done a great job of coming from the back of the grid to move up here to challenge into the Moss hairpin out of 5B, and all of a sudden we have got a titan battle for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd out of 5C. They head up the Andretti straightaway. Travis Hill trying to hold on to that 3rd place spot overall and the lead position in TC Canada, as he has got Bob Attrell 88 and Marco Cerrone closing on him.
Looked for a little while like the 26 of Travis Hill. Once he got around the 88 of Bob Attrell, he was going to set sail and open up a big gap. That has not happened. As a matter of fact, Bob Attrell has come back and closed the gap at the front of the field, as his 2 sons, Connor and Quinn Attrell, the 80 and the 86, are all over the back end of the 84 of Matt Clark through turn 10, now onto the front straightaway, as they are all in a line and all covered by half a second. 3 of them all in a window that's about a half second wide.
Indeed, he was right there, the 80 car of Connor Attrell at the end of that back straightaway. Looked as though he might have been able to squeeze through on the inside of Matt Clark, but was not able to make the pass. And up into turn number 3, Once again, he's close to within just about a car length. Try to figure where on the racetrack he can muscle that Hyundai Veloster around the Blanchette Motorsport Audi. It's not here in turn number 4 as Matt Clark takes it deep into turn number 5, opens up a couple of car lengths, and right on the ragged edge there, he had it up on 3 wheels going through 5B and got a pretty good drive coming out of the hairpin. He opens up about 3 or 4 car lengths, but here comes those Hyundai Velosters. They appeared to accelerate just a little bit stronger, and again, here goes the 80 of Connor Attrell looking on the inside into turn 8, and again, Matt Clark will turn away the bid by Attrell to get around into that 8th place position. This is some of the best racing right now here in the top 10.
Not quite close enough at the end of the Andretti straightaway for Attrell, but he is definitely close enough to take a look in turn number 1 once again, backs off and follows the number 84 of Matt Clark towards turn number 2, but again, so tight between these 3 cars. So 9th, 8th, 9th, and 10th on the racetrack right now is Matt Clark in the Audi, and then a pair of Hyundais in Connor Attrell and Quinn Attrell. We should tell you that Marco Signoretti still out in front by about 2 seconds over his teammate Zachary Vanier. That is in the GT4 class. Then you go back 23 seconds is the gap between the GT4s and the first TC Canada car, but the 2 Multimatic Motorsports Ford Mustangs well out in front of this one. You nearly put it on cruise control at this point, except for the fact they're going to have to battle amongst themselves. But Travis Hill is well back of an overall lead. However, he's comfortably in the lead in the TC Canada class by about 0.6 of a second. Marco Cerrone still under a second back of that lead as well. The top 3 able to stretch out over the 45 of LP Montour, who is 4th in class, and then rounding out the top 5 in the TC Canada class will be the 15 of Nick Loymans.
And again, that Volkswagen Golf holding off the 15 of Nick Loymans. Loymans had started to close in, but Montour right now still has a fairly comfortable lead as we work lap number 22. And winding it down here in race number 1 of the FEL Sports Car Championship Canada Series. We've had some outstanding racing, including the battle here going on for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd among the TC Canada class cars. It is still Travis Hill, car number 26, but only by about 3 or 4 car lengths up that Andretti straightaway. Cerrone is right there as well in 3rd, although it looked as though he didn't get a great drive out of the hairpin and did drop back a couple of more car lengths from Attrell as they run it into the top of the S's here at turn number 8. And then they'll be coming on the front straightaway here to complete their 22nd lap. Signoretti and Vanier have already gone through in those GT4 Multimatic Mustangs.
Looks at this point like Bob Attrell is smelling blood in the water as he's now closing still 0.4 of a second that time past the stripe to the 26 of Travis Hill as we continue to monitor this battle for 8th, 9th, and 10. Matt Clark still holding off the challenges of Connor Attrell and Quinn Attrell in a pair of Hyundais towards the back half of the top 10, but Matt Clark is doing all he can to keep those 2 Attrell cars at bay.
Nice job here by Matt Clark, who a year ago was winning 16 of the 18 Toyo Tires F1600 championship events. He's been racing the U.S. Formula 4 championship in the United States and getting an opportunity to take over that Blanchette Motorsport Audi that Richard Boak, I believe, had run in most of the previous rounds. And right now he's got his hands full with the Attrell brothers, Connor in car number 80 and the 86 of Quinn Attrell. Front running 3 TC Canada cars are through turn 8 in a 9 and on the start finish straightaway, and it continues to be very tight among these three drivers as they work back on the start-finish straightaway. I think we're going to have a challenge for the lead before this one is all over as we work lap number 24.
We watch the field come across the stripe. Still half a second between Travis Hill and Bob Attrell, and another half a second back to the 82 of Marco Cerrone. So those two, I think you're right, I think are holding off a little bit and going to mount a challenge here in the dying few laps on the 26th of Travis Hill. But we're also watching this battle a little bit deeper. 8th, 9th, and 10th now back up to the front between the 26, the 88, and the 82 as they smoothly make their way through 5A and B and head on the Andretti straightaway. Attrell doesn't quite get the jump he needs out of 5B onto the straightaway, as it looks like Hill is able to open up just a little bit. So he's able to get out of the turn a little bit quicker. Attrell will finally gobble him up down towards the end of the straightaway, but it's that jump he needs to get out of the turn to get him close in order to make a move in turn number 8.
Unfortunately, Tony Martella, I believe whatever the problem is with his race car, he is going to finish this race on pit road. That's where he is at the moment, and right now is running about 11 laps down to the race leader, Marco Signoretti, and his Multimatic teammate, Zach Vanier. They continue to run 1-2, and Signoretti has opened up a little bit more of a gap. The best racing here are a couple of dandy three-car battles. The race for first, second, third in the TC Canada class involving the 26 of Travis Hill, the 88 of Bob Attrell, and 82 Marco Cerrone. And then we've got the 84 car of Matt Clark trying to hold off Connor Attrell and his brother Quinn Attrell. That is for 8th, 9th, and 10th overall, and 6th, 7th, and 8th in the TC Canada class.
Boy, turn 4 and into turn 5 is where Bob Attrell really gained some real estate on the leader in class here in the TC Canada class. But then again, that exit of turn 5 onto the straightaway is where he seems to lose. And even now, Marco Cerrone closes up to the back bumper of the Hyundai, currently running second in class in the TC Canada class. As we look back again, that battle 8th, 9th, and 10th, as Connor Attrell now looks to the outside of Matt Clark, who runs that defensive line to the inside of turn number 8.
Clark tucking in on the inside, not leaving the door open for Connor Attrell in car number 80, but he is all over his rear wing, just a half a car length apart as they come on the start-finish straightaway. And here's Connor Attrell. He'll pull up alongside of Matt Clark, and he'll take that 8th place position down into turn 1. Matt Clark trying to battle back on the outside as they head up into turn number 2. He may have the preferred line going in, and Matt Clark will retake that 8th place position, but this is desperate action among these three drivers into turn number 3.
Only a few minutes left to go in this timed race for the FEL Motorsports Sports Car Championship Canada, and this is quite the battle. 8th, 9th, and 10th on the racetrack as Matt Clark up on the outside in turn number 1, able to hold on to 8th position despite a challenge from Connor Attrell, who got up alongside the Audi, and then a drag race to turn number 2 tipped the favor in the hand of Matt Clark in the 84. But what a dice deeper in the field, and what a way to learn full-bodied cars for Matt Clark here today.
And again, things are as close as they have been here in this battle for the TC Canada class win on the start-finish straightaway. This will be lap number 26 going up on the board for the leader in TC Canada, 26 Travis Hill. But Bob Attrell is right there along with Marco Cerrone. Nick Leuman's having a bit of a very lonely run there in the position number 7. And then again, here is Connor Attrell alongside of Matt Clark as they run up into turn number 2. And this time, Connor Attrell is able to make the pass stick. Here comes Quinn Attrell all over Matt Clark as he tries to get around him into turn number 3. But Matt Clark will hold him off.
That was a move that took many, many laps to finally complete for Connor Luttrell as he maneuvers around the number 84 of Mac Clark. Again into 8th position. Clark down to 9th. The sandwich in that Hyundai, or the meat in that Hyundai sandwich, I should say, is the Connor Luttrell ahead of him. Mac Clark in 9th, and then Quinn-Luttrell in 10th spot. But Quinn-Luttrell with a good run now off of turn 5, tucked up in behind that Audi as they head down the back straightaway. But the battle at the front is just as good here in the TC Canada class, and Bob Luttrell is now closed right up on the back bumper of the 26 of Travis Hill. He shadows him through turn number 10 and on the front straightaway, pokes to the inside. He won't have enough to make a move, but he's got to be weary of who's behind him. Marco Zeroni is right there, so if Bob Luttrell makes a move in a wrong spot, it'll likely cost him 2nd position.
I think we've got about a minute and a half in the 40 minutes allotted for this race. That battle continues into turn number 3. Luttrell is right up under the rear wing of Travis Hill, who that time got up on the speed curbing, and I think that may have cost them a little bit of a drive onto the short chute coming into turn number 4. So it is going to be as close as it's been all race long, and I would think the next time around they're going to get that last lap flag as we look at the race leader, 22, Marco Signoretti, qualified on the pole after topping practice, and he'll get the white last lap flag.
His teammate Zachary Vanier in his shadow as they work through 1 and 2, but the gap is about 2 seconds between those two cars. It's been consistently 2 seconds for most of this 40-minute timed race, so they will stay that way likely for this final lap as they work their way through turn 2 and up into turn number 3 now. A car just up ahead has gone through the dirt, so a cloud of dust just ahead of your overall race leader. There's no car there anymore, thankfully. But Marco Signoretti, you can see him touch the brakes as the rear lights came on, trying to navigate because he had no idea what he was coming around turn 3 and going to find.
Vanier had put in quite a charge here and has cut down the lead, but I don't think he's close enough to make any kind of a challenge. And it looks like, as they've been running all race long, the Multimatic Ford Mustang GT4 cars of Signoretti and Vanier are going to finish 1-2. We pick up the battle here in the TC Canada class. It is Travis Hill just ahead of Bob Luttrell, with Cerrone right there in 3rd.
And your overall race leader working through turn 10 for the final time. And to the stripe, your overall winner and winner in GT4, Marco Signoretti, followed home by Zachary Vanier. Signoretti slowed up just a little bit. Vanier on his back bumper at the line, but in through turn number 8 for the final time in the TC Canada class. This one is yet to be decided. 3rd overall on track, but first in TC Canada is Travis Hill. Bob Luttrell not quite there, not able to make a move in turn 10. So down on the front chute, it'll be Travis Hill taking the win in the TC Canada class. Bob Luttrell and Marco Cerrone coming home 2nd and 3rd.
45, Luis Philippe Montour, as the checkered flag is out, goes through the 15 of Loymans. Then it is the 80 of Connor Luttrell, Mac Clark in 9th, and then it will be Quinn-Luttrell in car number 86 to finish in 10th. Ed Killeen in car number 37 up for 11th, and Tony Martella will be on pit road here as the checkered flag flies. I think he only completed about 15 or so laps in the running here this afternoon. Whatever the problem was with the Martella car, hopefully they can get it fixed and corrected for the 2nd of our FEL Sports Car Championship Canada races that comes up tomorrow afternoon. So great battle there in TC Canada. Signoretti, you know, I guess he could have slowed down and gave us a little bit more of a race in GT4, but the song remains the same when it comes to Marco Signoretti. Pretty much has led every one of these races from start to finish. We'll see if Vanier can get any closer tomorrow.
Yeah, it's interesting to see now with a teammate who can challenge the number 22 of Marco Signoretti, how that's going to change things. Signoretti now aware that he has somebody who is just in behind who can push him a little bit more, and how that's going to change things tomorrow will be very, very interesting. But the drivers get a chance to work on their cars overnight, maybe work on a setup a little bit. How the track is going to change as things start to cool down overnight as well. Not expected to be as warm tomorrow as it was here today, so that might change things up tomorrow as well. But we're looking forward to another very exciting race, especially in the TC Canada class. What a finish between Travis Hill, Bob Attrell, and Marco Cerrone. Top three covered by 0.7 of a second between those top three. So under a second for 3 cars crossing the stripe. That's dynamite.
Well, that was an absolutely superb battle for those podium spots. And of course, at the tail end of that top 10, what a race among Connor Attrell, 80, Mac Clark, 84, and the 86 of Quinn Attrell. Those 3 drivers really went at it here down towards the closing laps, with Connor Attrell finally able to get around Mac Clark. They'll do it all again tomorrow. That will be our closing race of our Sunday schedule, as was the case here today. It'll be 3:30, the 40-minute FEL Sports Car Championship race number 2 on the weekend. And of course, we'll be on the racetrack tomorrow morning with our FEL Radical Cup Canada Invitational race number 2. There'll be some additional prizes from what we understand, including the 3rd place finisher, and that gets free registration for next year's Radical Canada Cup Series.